Hey guys, welcome back again. I'm still experimenting with PVA glue today and Floetrol. So this mix doesn't have any water in it this time. It's just 1 part PVA to 2 parts Floetrol, and I am testing out the global paints with it. Haven't had much luck in the past with them, but I'm going to have a go again with global and PVA. See how it goes. Make it a little bit thinner. So I've got some white, got some navy, some green, turquoise and cool blue. And I'm also going to use in those mixtures 1 teaspoon of isopropyl, and I've just popped it into here so it's easier for me to mix into the colours. I am going to put it in the white as well because I want the colours all to be the same consistency. This is going to thin down the paints a little bit because the PVA makes it quite a bit thicker than I usually work with. So we'll stir that in. Got to stir it in really well. You have to work quite fast because it's alcohol, so it does evaporate. So mix it in really well, and then we'll add our silicone, and then we'll do the pour. So this is just basically thinning the paints down a little bit. I find it also does help to give cells with the silicone. I'm not exactly sure on how it works, but I think because it's alcohol, it rises to the surface really quickly and brings the silicone, the paint with it. That's my theory anyway, helps to make the cells. It's like oil sitting on water. The oil wants to come to the surface with the water. And hopefully the alcohol will do the same, make the oil come to the surface and help create cells. So we'll see if I'm right. Oops. Spilling, and as usual I just write on my card here what I've done. Now, silicone is the treadmill belt silicone, and I'm going to put 5 drops in each colour. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not in the white. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a little bit thinner than the coconut hair milk serum. They both work well, just differently. 1, 2, 3 times round. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Don't stir it too much. This is the cup I'm going to use for my dirty pour, and I'm just going to spray that with some silicone spray and then wipe out the excess. It's just to help the paint flow and not get stuck in the paint, in the cup, so we want it all to come out. So that's ready. Now I'm just going to start layering the colours in. White, navy, we'll go darkest to lightest. See how that goes. And our green, I like a little bit of green in with my blues and whites. White again. More navy. I do like the navy and the white together. They're my 2 favourite colours, along with this aqua. And a little bit more white. So pretty full cup there. We'll move all these cups to the side. Looks pretty on top already. You can see some cells. Turn that over. And as I've said before, you're much better off having more paint than not enough paint. Flip it over. Let's let that paint run down and mix a little bit. cells happening already down there. Just push it up, drag it down. Don't let your drips fall in the centre. And just let it sit there for a minute or so. And then I'll torch just to bring the cells up to the surface. So as you can see, we haven't got a lot of space left, so we don't have to tilt too much to cover our card or your canvas. You don't want just a little section in the middle of paint, and then you have to spread it way too far and stretch your cells out of shape. So I've got some nice cells popping up already. A lot to do, and a lot of that is to do with this alcohol. I have done this before without the alcohol, and I find it doesn't work as well. I'm just going to torch now, my little blow torch from Bunnings. Not too close to the paint, you don't want to burn it, you don't want to melt it. More cells popping up. You don't want too many cells coming up now, because they'll stretch too much and we'll end up with way too big of cells. I want some big cells and some little cells. So that will be enough for now. We seem to get a little wormy thing in there as well. Okay, so we'll start tilting. We'll go to this corner first. Nice and slow. Don't want to go too fast and break up the cells that you've already created. Just try and help it down to that corner a little bit. The weight of the paint will drag the other paint down. Losing a bit off the side there. We'll just push it up this way. Don't want to waste too much of it over the edge. Okay, so that corner's covered. We'll come back. Bring the weight back to the centre. Just turn it around so that you can see the other corner. We'll go for this corner next. Hang on to the card here. Almost lost it once. It went shooting off my cake rack. This is just a cake cooling rack. Works well, the paint can flow off it easily. Try not to lose too much of that paint. Push it up the sides. Let this go over the edge, and then that will be that corner done. Come back to the centre. Go for this corner. Get that last little bit of paint out. It'll just help move the paint down the card a little bit easier. If I hadn't have torched, these cells would have been a little bit smaller, and then as I stretch or tilt the canvas, they would have grown. So if you don't want huge cells, don't torch first, torch afterwards, because they just keep growing as you tilt. Although a lot of people do want huge cells, sometimes they can be too big, I think. Okay, so that's that corner done. Bring the weight back to the centre. It's looking really pretty. Turn it around. We can do the last corner. Just going to put a bit of extra paint here to help out, because I don't want to lose too many pretty cells that we've created. A little bit of white. There we go. And that's just to help the paint flow over the edge. there's a little bit left, that's fine. Okay, last corner. This up here is going to stretch more because it's moved 3 times now, but there's not much we can do about that. It has to be done. But the more paint you have on your canvas, as I said, the less tilting you have to do. So I could have had a little bit more, could have filled that cup up. I think that's a 475 or 450 ml cup, that one. And this is a 30 centimetre by 40 centimetre card. There we go, almost off. And back. So we'll try and bring this area down a little bit so those cells can go back into shape, not too stretched. Let's turn that around again. So these here, I'm just going to try and bring the paint down there a little bit more. Because the cells up here are still quite small in comparison to those, so we'll just move this down a touch. Make those cells a little bit smaller, make these a little bit bigger so that everything's more uniform. And that's about it. It's really pretty. I'm happy with that one. Now, torch again. You don't have to torch again. Sometimes it's nice just to have this negative space, you know, the green there, the blue there, the white there. You don't have to have cells everywhere. But I'm just going to pop the air bubbles because I don't want any little pits in the paint when it dries. So we'll just a quick little heat gun over the top. Get rid of any bubbles. Okay. So I think that's probably the best so far in relations to PVA. As I said, I have used PVA in Global before and it just has not worked. Just curdled. This is a previous PVA one, little tiny cells. It was too thick, but using that isopropyl has helped thin it out and helped get better cells. Okay, so hope you enjoyed that video. I will see you for the next one. Bye for now.